Greetings and salutations. Today I will read for you the prologue of ALKAYA, the Legend of EMPYRO. It goes a little something like this. Long before Earth and man were brought into existence by the Prime Creator, there was a perfect super race of hyper-intelligent beings. They were called the ALKAYANs. They were materialized into humanoid forms that consisted of tall, slender bodies with no mouths or gender and 6-digit fingers with two opposable thumbs on each hand. They communicated telepathically and absorbed their energy through the electrons of atoms that surrounded them. They had no need to eat. Their technology was far superior to anything you can imagine. Everything was controlled through brainwaves and telekinesis. They had no need for sleep because their minds never got tired. They never aged and they lived forever. They were innovators and masters of every art form. They were a peaceful race with a collective conscience that were equal, with no need for government or monetary system. The positive energy that flowed from them was pure love. The ALKAYANs were nomads created as intergalactic cartographers to map the heavens and galaxies as they spiraled outward and new stars were born. They traversed the universe in a glorious armada of vessels of their own design. Their purpose was to teach the lower races yet to come their vast knowledge and instill in them an unadulterated love for their Creator. They were the wayshowers of the truth and the light. Once their cartography was completed, they constructed their own planet. They called the quintessential home ALKAYA. They gathered every race of animal of the universe you could imagine to live in perfect harmony. The ALKAYANs were pleased with the perfect society they had created and functioned effortlessly for many millennia. One day, a trans-dimensional portal opened up and a comet came through and struck the surface of ALKAYA. The ALKAYANs named the star Lucifer, which means light bearer, but it was inaccurately named, for the only thing Lucifer brought was shadow and darkness. He brought a new element of shadow that the ALKAYANs had never seen before. It negated the light. Lucifer decided to make his own race of beings to disrupt the world the ALKAYANs had assembled. He called them the Repticons. They were the evil incarnation of pure jealousy and hatred Lucifer had developed in his heart. Lucifer became the Great Dragon. His creation resembled his moniker. The Repticons have big, round, serpentine eyes, jagged teeth, dark red, scaly skin, and black claws. The negative energy that flowed from them was pure hate. The Repticons plagued the planet of ALKAYA with disorder and chaos. With weapons of mass destruction, they infiltrated and corrupted the ALKAYAN society. Being a peaceful and pacifist planet, the innocuous ALKAYANs had no knowledge of war or how to combat the threat of the Repticons. They could only watch helplessly as all of ALKAYA was quickly overthrown. No one could halt them in their evil conquest. The last great city of ALKAYA, the metropolis known as Petopus, was under siege by the Reptican forces. The city's last defense was a massive force field that was slowly losing power as the Repticans drained life from the planet. In this time of crisis, when certain death seemed inevitable, there was a glimmer of hope. Having no battle experience or weapons to arm themselves, the team of the most enlightened ALKAYANs began designing biomechanical armor to enhance their physical strength and capabilities. Harvesting the energy of the four elements, fire, water, air, and earth, they infused that power with impervious alloys. From the alloys they fashioned 4 suits empowered by each corresponding element. They call these bioweapons EMPYRO. The hosts are empowered by the fire inside of their hearts. The ALKAYANs selected 4 beings of sound body and mind to operate the EMPYROs. It didn't matter what size or shape you were because the armor formed a symbiotic relationship with the host, adjusting to conform to the body. The force of the EMPYROs drove back the hordes of the Repticons and wiped them off the face of ALKAYA. The EMPYROs were unable to fully vanquish the great dragon Lucifer, so they sealed him deep within a volcano below the crust of the planet. Some Repticans, including the Repticon and Salt leader named Harkane, evaded the EMPYRO's grasp, burrowing deep beneath the surface. The EMPYROs tracked down the remaining renegade Repticons and sealed them away within the secret underground layer. Harkane swore vengeance on ALKAYA and vowed he would return in full force to finish the Holocaust he led. With the threat of the Repticons absolved, peace returned to ALKAYA once again. The High Elders hid away the EMPYROs within elemental temples at the 4 corners of the world, in case the power was ever needed again. Because of the bloodshed, violence, and death, sin and immorality had entered the world. Their utopia became flawed. It was as if the Repticons were still influencing the population somehow. Feeling they had failed their society, the original ALKAYANs departed the home they created and returned to the stars. They promised the citizens they would return when they found the cure for the planet. They left them a code to live by called the Vademecum, and instructed them to have faith they would return to cleanse ALKAYA of the evil. Thousands of years passed, and the people slowly forgot about the Great War and the 4 bioweapons. The people slipped into depravity. The land was divided, races only stuck with each other and battled for dominance. They had corrupt governments and wars broke out between tribes and nations, fighting out of greed for territory. They trusted their own judgment when they weren't capable of directing themselves. This selfish, corrupt system went about their lives unaware of the sinister beings that lurked below. The seal had weakened. Hawkane was coming. Dun, 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 dun. To be continued.